AskReddit. Men of Reddit, what do you do that you're pretty sure all men do? Bring in all the groceries in one trip. The art of picking up and carrying milk jugs with your fingers. I once went grocery shopping with my dad and we had to bring it upstairs. We decided we would get it all done in one go. It was hell on my hands, but once I got there in one go, I felt so proud. I let out aloud, "I did it! Do you love me now, Father?" Slap the pockets of my jeans and say, wallet, phone, keys, cigarettes, before leaving the house. And they're all in very specific places and positions. Wallet, back right pocket, phone, front right, keys, front left. If I'm coming home late at night on a lonely road and notice there's a woman ahead of me, I walk much more slowly so she can hear that the gap between us is growing, or I cross to the other side of the road so again she can hear I'm moving away from her. I always find myself purposefully stepping harder when I'm coming up to pass someone so they can hear my footsteps and I don't scare the thing out of them when I suddenly brush past them out of nowhere. Bury my emotions and never talk about them. Guys, it's not gay or weak or whatever to vent every now and then to friends, family, or strangers. Speaking from experience, bottling up emotions unhealthily can and will lead to negative consequences. Depression, anger issues, physical health problems, etc. That and, sometimes it just feels good to lower the defenses and let a few bros or lady friends inside the armor, right? Makes you feel a bit more connected to those around you. If you are struggling with things you think you can't talk about, by all means, give me a PM. Sometimes it's easier to open up to a stranger. Until you're drunk. I'm convinced that any man who grows a beard and then shaves it for a brief moment, trims it to the Hitler moustache and stares at themselves for a minute and speaks in a German accent. It's the allure of forbidden fruit. I used to. But then I got worried my shaver would break and leave me with the tash, so now I always shave that bit off first. So you go for Amish beard first. I shave the chin first, so I have that old-timey handlebar moustache that attaches to 2 long sideburns. Double take on that gorgeous young lady that just walked by. Then realize she is definitely still in high school. Criticize her parents for letting her dress like that. Am I still a minor? Oh, that's right. I turned 18 a few months ago. Breakfast thinking. More often than not, I go to bed excited to wake up because I'm looking forward to breakfast. I really love breakfast because it's simple, quick to cook, and fun. I was on an eggplant kick last week, so there was eggplant and eggs. Before that was eggs and salsa. Eggs and potatoes are a good standby. Yogurt with whatever is nice. If I want to feel fancy, I have cheese. Going to bed is a happy breakfast in the morning. Have a feeling of accomplishment when I fill the surface of the toilet water with bubbles. Hold one nostril closed in the shower and blow snot or boogers out the other straight into the drain. The Russian hanky. The snot rocket, if you will. It is truly the most graceful exhibition of human masculinity. If a pretty lady is about to walk past me on my left, and I suspect I won't be able to get a direct look at her, I'll use the reflection of the window on my right to scan her fully, guilt-free. Works best when I'm downtown. Wondering if today is the day you'll stop holding yourself back. Having that moment of self-awareness that it would be so easy to be the person that you want to be, that the amount of time you've spent hesitating shames you, and pondering why you've let it go so far. Perhaps you want your friends and brothers to always be your equals, or perhaps you want your dad to always be the best. But if you start being who you think you really are, you'll leave them so far behind that you feel like it will somehow lessen them. Feeling that you have these extreme talents like fruit on the vine going to rot due to your inaction. And then going back to mindlessly consuming and procrastinating to distract yourself from your comfortable view of your extreme limits from atop the bell curve as you settle for a life of mediocrity by default. Wow, this is meh. Also, sorry I'm late. Having to take off long socks after a long day and scratch out my hairy legs. Finding shortcuts on routes to places where I often go. Just lurking every time to find a way to get there faster, to the point where I cross a street because I know it would be a shorter way, because later there is a slight turn and I can save a few steps. So much, yes, we save literally dozens of seconds. Racing the flush or using sonar to pee at night, avoiding harsh bathroom light. Nothing like the sudden rush when you accidentally miss the toilet and splash all over the floor. While watching TV or whatever alone, your hand will somewhat subconsciously migrate into your pants and rest on your junk. I've done it since I was a child, and I still do it. Trying to catch falling objects, lightly tapping my testicles in the downswing, and getting abdominal pain from the light contact. Not sure if this has been said already, but getting emotionally tied to sports teams. Like when my team loses in football for the rest of the day, I'm disappointed. As a Vikings fan, I know the feels. Think about just quitting everything and go and live as a wild man in the forest every once in a while. After getting undressed, flip my underwear up into the air with my toes and catch it before tossing it into the laundry bin. Stay in the bathroom longer than necessary when she's talking, and you just need the quiet for a little bit longer. Trying not to make a sound whenever someone walks in on you pooping in a public bathroom. End up waiting for them to leave or see if they're challenging me to a battle. When bored, looking through the women there to determine which you would bang, and looking through the men to determine which you could beat in a fight. Imagining apocalyptic or Red Dawn scenarios and what you would do. Poop. Well, actually one guy who claims that he does not poop. However, that is a story for another day. I enjoy having breakfast in bed. I like waking up to the smell of bacon. Sue me. And since I don't have a butler, I have to do it myself. So, most nights before I go to bed, I will lay 6 strips of bacon out on my George Foreman grill. Then I go to sleep. When I wake up, I plug in the grill. I go back to sleep again. Then I wake up to the smell of crackling bacon. It is delicious. It's good for me. It's a perfect way to start the day. I must admit, one day I got up and stepped onto the grill and it clamped down on my foot. Leave the bathroom without washing your hands when nobody's looking and you didn't get anything on them. 2 things. 1. Grip the nutsack and stretch it to unstick it from your leg, or just to see how far it'll stretch. Tuck an inconvenient boner into your belt, and, if you're a tad more well endowed, try not to bend at the waist until it goes away. In the morning, flatten my right hand, do morning wood stretch while pushing it down a bit. Eat food, breathe, and sleep. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only guy who does these things, but I could be wrong. Nah, you are. As you drop your underwear, use your foot to bring it up within arm's length or fling it up into the air and try to catch it. Sometimes at home, especially if I'm wearing track pants, I'll just walk to the toilet, pull them down and start going. No holding, no aiming, just pants down and starts. Doesn't usually work in the morning though. Flex when passing mirrors in your house. You always know which mirror in which room you look the biggest in, and usually head there for a quick flex after doing it in any of the lesser mirrors. Doing the Texas belt buckle, or as it is also referred to as Texas tuck. When you have an erection but have to stand up and walk around other people, you pull your dick up and use your belt buckle or waistband to hold your dick head behind it so it isn't sticking straight out. Most dudes probably knew what I was saying in the first sentence, but the explanation for dudes that do it but do not know the terminology. Socks off at home. Any rooms, any place, anyone around, socks stay wherever you were when they got taken off. Turn the water on in the bathroom but fail to wash hands, all the while using water as a distraction. Within 30 seconds of meeting another man, I've decided whether or not I could win a fight with them. I don't know why, but I can't remember ever not being that way. And I'm actually a nice, peaceful person. I just size people up right away for whatever reason. Destroy cigarette butts at the bottom of the urinal. Targets of opportunity. You have to field strip them, as George Carlin said. Examine an axe or other random hand tool at a hardware store, faking you're looking at quality, all the while sizing it up as a makeshift zombie apocalypse weapon. Leaving the gym weight machine on a higher weight setting than you were using when there is someone after you. Got an erection in public and have purposefully declined to do something because you can't get up. Like I missed my train stop because I was rocking a solid and would have slapped the guy in front of me with my thigh. When watching an emotional part in a movie with your SO, looking at the corner of the screen so not to cry like a little girl. Say horrible things in the company of your close friends that would get you fired, divorced, disowned, etc. Eat any food that is way too hot to be eaten at the time. This especially applies to molten cheese on pizza. I will burn the roof of my mouth before I wait for it to cool down. Pluck a wild, crazy, long white ear whisker, the kind attached to a lobe on your brain, and think, oh no, am I getting old already? After washing hands in the bathroom, I look up in the mirror to A. See if I have anything in my teeth and that my hair doesn't have a strand sticking out. B. Make faces to see what other people see when I make that face. Or C. Try to make my pecs dance like Terry Crews. One day I'll get it. Sometimes we stare at girls by accident because they walk where we're looking, or we sort of zone out. But 99.99% of the time it's intentional. Wipe until the toilet paper yields nothing. I'm also pretty sure I'm not the only guy who wipes, in spite of not having pooped, just to make sure I'm not skid marking my underwear, which is a process I refer to as playing a losing scratch-off. Squish both sides of my chest together with my hands to see if I can make convincing cleavage. I'm not saying I don't always wash my hands, but if I'm in a public restroom and someone else is in there as I'm about to leave, I definitely wash my hands. That awkward leg movement you think you're being incognito about when you're trying to detach your balls from your leg.